What business does this have on a pizza? None, a lot of you will say, but if you allow me, I'd like to change your mind, because this pizza is playful, fun, different, and delicious. So let's get started by making a condiment that you should have in your fridge anyway: pickled red onions. For the brine, I'm using a cup of white vinegar and half a cup of water. You could also use red wine vinegar. To that, I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of sugar and a teaspoon of salt. Toss the pan on the stove, and while that comes up to a boil, we're gonna toast some spices. Into another dry pan, we're gonna throw about a tablespoon of cumin seeds and a bay leaf. And while those things are hanging out, it's time to prep the onion. Cut the stem off, slice it in half along its length, peel it, and get rid of the root part. Now we're gonna cut along the length of the onion and not across. Apparently that's gonna give us less onion stench and a better texture in the end. Get a big clove of garlic and give it a good smack. That will release all the allicin. That's the good stuff in garlic. Toss that into a very clean jar along with the toasted spices, 1 star anise. By the way, all of this is optional and up to your taste. Then we're going in with the onions, and I'm gonna stop halfway and throw in some black peppercorns and some mustard seeds. Then we're gonna top it up with the rest of the onions and pour in the hot brine. These are ready to use as soon as they cool down, but I'd say make them the day before. Bone marrow is up next. Get yourself some beef bones and roast them in a very hot oven. I'd say 10-15 minutes or until the bone marrow is tender. Meanwhile, we're starting a little fresh salad. For the dressing, we're gonna need the juice of half a lemon, a few glugs of olive oil, and a small clove of garlic, which we're gonna macerate. In it goes with the olive oil and the lemon juice, along with a couple of tablespoons of capers. My onions are ready to go because they spent the night in the fridge, but if you've made yours the same day, make sure they've cooled down. Add a couple of forkfuls of those as well, and we're gonna pick a couple of handfuls of parsley leaves. We're gonna leave it at that and toss everything together right before we put it on the pizza, otherwise it's gonna wilt. And speaking of pizza, I'm using the recipe from the sourdough bread video. If you want to see the details, I've put a link to that video up in the right corner. You know where it goes from here. Push push, stretch stretch. Oh, and for this dough, I've been feeding the sourdough starter with only white flour. If this pizza wasn't weird enough already for you, we're only baking the crust. Even so, speaking from experience, this is still really good, so don't eat it yet. Meanwhile, our bones should be done roasting. If they are, a knife should go in through the bone marrow without any resistance. And we're ready to go to Bone Town. Scoop out those sweet morsels of bone jelly and give them a little seasoning. Salt flakes for the crunch and some black peppies. Just look at that. Soft, unctuous fattiness. Get some of that bone marrow juice, okay, fat, and glaze the crust with it. And then we're going in with the marrow. Okay, now we can toss the salad. It's fresh, it's juicy, it's zingy, and it's a perfect contrast to the richness of that bone marrow. And that's why this pizza works so well. In terms of texture and flavor and temperature even. The crust and the bone marrow are warm, but then we lift it up with the cool salad. You got the soft fatty bone marrow, but then it gets cut by the acidic crunch of the pickled red onions and the brininess of the capers. And of course we're going in with some extra bone marrow for just an amazing bite of food. I hope you give this pizza a try, because it's different and it's really good. Roll out.